Hello, this is David and welcome to Make Me Proud, the video series sharing the story of my campaign to become a better sprint swimmer. And in this episode, I'm going to be conducting a technical analysis of my 50 meters freestyle from the AP Race Club International London Swimming Meet 2024. That's right, my brand new poster makes its debut on Make Me Proud. I'm super excited to have finally hung that up on the wall. But going back into today's topic, my 50 meters freestyle, for those of you that watched the footage of my race will know that I came in with a long course personal best time of 28.38 seconds, just 0.07 seconds off of an all-time personal best. So super excited with this swim, and hence in this video we're going to be taking a look at what went wrong, where there may be areas for improvement. So if you give this video a like, I would very much appreciate it. Remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more swimming content, and for swimming coaching head on over to westcough.com. But otherwise, without any further ado, let's dive right in to today's technical analysis. So a quick reaction time off of the blocks. Underwaters and breakout leave a little bit to be desired. However, it's my stroke rate and distance per stroke that I'm really chuffed with in this race. Keep an incredibly high stroke rate in comparison to my previous 50 meter swims, which just enables me to really accelerate up to speed, and I come in with a time of 28.38 seconds. So with that being probably my best ever 50 meters freestyle swim, I find myself struggling to come up with points to critique that race. Nonetheless, I will try, and I'll go through the race in chronological order because I feel as though that best makes sense in this scenario. So starting with the dive, I got a good reaction time off of the blocks. That's something that I've been struggling with lately, really delaying my start and therefore losing precious vital fractions of a second in the process. That may be what made the majority of the distance between the 28.38 that I set in this race and the 28.75 that I went at British Nationals, where my reaction time off the blocks was rather woeful. The actual distance and technique that I used to throw myself off the blocks, I think is somewhere that needs a little bit of work. I don't really seem to look up far enough when I throw myself up off of the blocks, and therefore that means I don't quite get the distance through the air in my dive that I otherwise could have. I hit the water a little bit early, and naturally, as water is more resistant than air, that means again I'm going to be losing precious fractions of a second. However, in comparison to previous swims I've done, it's probably one of the best dives I've ever done. So maybe being a little bit harsh on myself, but it's always good to have an area for improvement. It's the same story with the underwaters. Again, looking at the other swimmers in my heat, they were a lot better at this than me. They surfaced further up along the pool. From the breakout, I was probably in last position and had the most work to do going into the finish. So really need to focus on generating more propulsion and power from my underwaters, and as well making the transition from my underwaters into that stroke. It still looks a little bit clunky, whereas what I want it is to be nice and smooth. So you finish that last fly kick and then you're straight into conducting the freestyle stroke. However, there still seems to be a little bit of pause. I seem to be surfacing and having a little bit of a jibe up in the water instead of that being a nice forward motion. However, from there is where I'm really happy with this race. I had a nice and high stroke rate. I had my bent arm elbow recovery, helping me to achieve that nice and high stroke rate. And as a result of that high stroke rate, I didn't really seem to sacrifice all that much power in my stroke. That seemed to be pretty powerful. In comparison to others, they seemed to accelerate a little bit quicker than I was. It took me a little bit of time to get up to speed. However, the benefit of my stroke was that I had a higher top speed. So as we were coming into the finish, I was the one with the high speed, and it was a case of me catching the others up in this race. So something to work on there, making sure that my acceleration from the breakout is a little bit higher so that I can get up to speed a little bit more quickly. However, really happy with the stroke portion of this race, and at the finish managed to keep my head down low. I managed to keep my head down, looking down at the bottom of the pool throughout the duration of this race, which again I think was one of the key elements to me doing so well, because it meant that I just reduced a whole load of drag and helped me to get up to that high top speed in comparison to the others in this heat. So I think that's really key, and keeping that all the way into the finish. I have an awful bad habit of looking up as I come into the finish because I'm keen to see what my time is. It's something that I do in training so that I can see how fast I've gone, but in actual races I need to keep my head looking down at the bottom of the pool to ensure that I don't incur any additional drag when reaching in for the touch. So I did that incredibly well, and as a result came in with that awesome time of 28.38 seconds. Super excited about that time because it means that I'm probably now capable of a sub 28 50 meters freestyle in a short course setting. So hopefully that is on its way when short course season rears itself around come September time. So very much looking forward to that. And obviously I feel as though once I can hit a 27.5 short course 50 meters freestyle, that will mean that I have it within me to go a sub 60 second 100 meters freestyle. So this is very exciting times for me. I'm on the cusp of achieving that sub 60 second 100 meters freestyle. Need to keep working on it, tweak those few finer points like I said, the dive, the underwaters, and the breakout, the smoothness of said breakout. Naturally in short course season, turns are going to be a big factor, but naturally in this long course 50 meters freestyle, there wasn't a turn, so I didn't have to bother myself with it. But things are really looking up. I'm super excited about future races to come. We've got Europeans in just over 2 weeks time, so very much excited for that and looking forward to hopefully going my quickest ever in a long course setting, and perhaps even setting a overall personal best in the 50 meters freestyle, and not just a long course personal best. So that is it for this technical analysis. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. For more swimming content, click on my profile picture and subscribe to my YouTube channel. For swimming coaching, visit westcough.com, or for another video of mine that I think you'd like, click on the thumbnail.